Top story at 5, President Trump's new executive order calling for the dismantling of the entire Department of Education. Though here's where it already gets a little bit murky. Getting rid of the department completely would likely require an act of Congress. So Republicans say they plan to introduce a bill to do just that. The president's saying some core functions will remain. Those include funding for low-income schools, Pell Grants, and the management of federal student loans, though it remains unclear how the administration plans to make those seemingly contradictory things, keeping some services and dismantling the whole department, happen.
We're going to be returning education very simply back to the states where it belongs.
The department has already gutted its workforce by about half. People affected will be placed on administrative leave starting tomorrow.
A lot to follow. We want to bring in Celine Stevens now live on the Portland State campus.
Right, because Celine, now the question becomes, how will these changes and uncertainty impact schools and students in Oregon and Washington?
David, Christine, it's not too clear. The Department of Education is responsible for a range of things, ranging from funding for schools to financial aid for universities to protecting students with disabilities and more. But now that this executive order has been signed and almost half the department's workforce has been let go, the future is still unknown.
We're going to shut it down and shut it down as quickly as possible. It's doing us no good.
Thursday afternoon, President Trump signed an executive order dismantling the Department of Education.
Today we take a very historic action that was 45 years in the making. Everybody knows it's right, and we have to get our children educated. We're not doing well.
The White House citing issues with poor academic performance, cost, and wanting to return education to the states.
Those are two stats you don't want. The most money spent per pupil, and you're at the bottom of the list. 40% of fourth graders lack even basic reading skills, can't read.
But according to the Department of Education's website, it does not dictate curriculum. That already lies in the state's hands. However, it does help with funding, financial aid, and assisting students with disabilities.
Special education is really a partnership between states and the federal government. And the rules and regulations that flow from the Department of Education have to be checked up on in order to make sure states are holding up their end of the bargain.
Jake Cornett with Disability Rights Oregon says without those protections, Oregon students will suffer.
If the Department of Education were to be eliminated, there would be some real backsliding. States know that then there is nobody watching them, and they're going to start to walk back some of their own action.
In our interview with Governor Tina Kotek on Straight Talk this week, she said while right-sizing the federal government may be necessary, this is not the right way.
But what you don't want to do is cut services to students. And so it's really going to be up to the Trump administration to say, we're going to hold students harmless while we might do some things that we believe are necessary from an administrative standpoint. I'm not sure that's going to happen.
However, Trump said during his speech that Pell Grants, Title I funding, and resources for kids with special needs will be fully preserved and redistributed to other departments. Still, without the department, the future is murky.
But ultimately, it's kids with disabilities and their family who's going to get stuck in between that rock and a hard place as those protections get less and less meaningful in the state.
Again, fully closing the department would require an act of Congress, and the president has only signed an executive order. As for those employees that were told they were let go, they will be placed on administrative leave Friday. Back to you.
Definitely a lot of uncertainty right now. Celine Stevens reporting live from Portland State. Thank you, Celine.